Welcome to the first ever episode 241 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Hi, Tim.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm growing my hair out officially until Extra Life, so Andy can cut it.
Yeah.
This was decided in the pre-show.
Till next July.
No, we do a pre-show November, Fran.
Oh.
Do you even care about kids? Do you
I
even
thought
care about
you
sick
said
kids?
yes, extra life. I thought you said next July.
Oh, shit.
You mumble.
Oh, I mumble. You haven't slept in 4 days, but it's on me.
Sorry, everybody.
Fran Mirabella the third, FM3_ on Twitch himself. You're joining us once again. Best hair in the business.
Thank you. Greg's coming in for the cup, though. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. This is
Yeah.
a good haircut.
So, wait, so what's the deal with this? Fran's going to cut it or Andy's going to cut it?
Andy's
Andy.
cutting it.
I'm gonna cut it. Yeah.
But I'm
Are
going
you
to style
just
it. Can
gonna
I help
supervise?
style it?
Sure,
Or wait,
yeah.
no, you might want to style it. I don't want to.
Give me
Oh,
a,
you
we
got
got
Andy
Andy
on
Rock.
Shock mic over there.
Can we have Patreon people donate for the style they want?
Well, this is an extra life thing. This is
Oh, can we have Extra Life people donate then?
maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not against it. I don't want a mohawk.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, it's
Reverse
dangerous,
mohawk,
Greg.
I'll take it.
You got,
Miller,
You
how
heard
do
it
you
here
feel
first.
about
Huh?
selling small Ziploc bags of your hair?
Oh, no, I totally want to do that, yeah.
Sell your hair,
If you
definitely.
remember when I had the cancer and Randy cut my hair on up at noon, I saved the hair in a bag, but we hadn't gotten to the point yet where we did Patreon stuff yet, so I just had a bag of hair on my desk for like a year and a half.
oh, my God.
And eventually I just threw it away because I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Think if I still had it now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Think of
God,
what it'd be
we'd
worth.
be in the money. We'd
Yeah.
have a fucking new studio space on top of the studio
Yeah.
space.
That'll be what we give away next year for the
like a
our
fine
website
wine.
championship. It's just
We'd be
Greg's
filling
name.
a couple-
We'd be swimming in hair.
We
right
would
now.
be.
Andy, is it a secret what you want to do with Kevin's hair?
Kind of.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, people should have to wait
Awesome.
because it's freaking
I never-
fantastic.
Is it put
I
in a
never
toaster?
I never agreed to any of
You
it.
seemed really down, Kevin.
He's going to look awesome.
You
It's
seem
going to
really
be great.
I don't know.
And the former informer, is that what we're
That's
going
it,
with
that's
That's
here?
what I think we're going with, yeah.
Imran Khan,
That's
how
a
are
great
you doing?
name.
I'm doing great.
I
How
like
about
that.
you?
You might have the best name out of anybody ever.
It rolls off the tongue. I really
It's-
appreciate
It's
it.
so good. I feel like you haven't been here for a long time. I missed you.
I missed last week because I was at that Star Wars thing that kind of sucked ass, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Explain.
Like, so they told us, okay, you're going to get
What
hands
Star
on.
Wars?
So at Lucasfilm, they said they were going to do like a big
Force Friday.
Force Friday.
Triple
yeah.
Force Friday.
Triple Force Friday.
And it was a reveal of merch, right?
It was revealed of merch, but they told us that we'd have hands-on with Jedi Fallen Order. So I went there as like for another site to get some impressions and like write some news stories, stuff like that. It didn't. So their hands-on definition is there's a TV screen playing the trailer, and someone who was not with Respawn was just there explaining the trailer
Nice.
that we had already been explained at by a panel.
Great.
Stig Asmussen was there.
Okay.
Was not able to answer any questions. Every time I stopped to talk to him about the game,
That producer?
yeah, he's the action
Stig.
game. Yeah, the director.
Formerly
of
a
it.
PlayStation. Worked on God of War. Okay.
Yeah, but he.
Thanks for watching EA
Too
Play.
busy making those
Thanks for
videos for
thanks
IGN.
Thanks for watching EA
Too
Play.
busy making videos for you, Greg. That's how you treat him.
He's got.
He's spicy.
He's spicy.
I
today.
like it.
I don't like
sorry.
it one bit. He went and hung out at TwitchCon with all these 14-year-old streamers, and he's come back with a goddamn teenage attitude.
Hey, cool kids. Pretty much.
You hear Greg sucks enough, and you start
I
believing
know,
it.
right?
Sorry. So Stig was.
He was there, but he wasn't like every time I
was
tried
allowed
to
to
like talk to him about the game, somebody from Disney would interrupt and be like, "Hey, no, we're not gonna really talk about
They
that right
did
now."
the wave of the hand.
Yeah, pretty much. So basically, I just went there
I
and I
will not
like
ask this question.
I went there and I ate like their really bad avocado toast.
Oh, no.
Like it was just fucking awful.
Shit on that toast.
The most San Francisco
Yeah.
problem
I
ever.
don't know how you screw
We
up
had bad
avocado toast.
avocado toast.
I mean, like it's nice to walk around. Have you ever been to that campus, like the Lucasfilm campus? It's very nice, but it wasn't worth going. So I was like, maybe I should just gone to
Oh, this is in
Gamescast.
Presidio.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Glad I didn't go.
Yeah.
Dope inside.
It's. I would have liked to have been like, because they gave away all the Star Wars stuff at the end. And I didn't really. It was just a bunch of Pez dispensers. Like this is not worth coming here, but whatever. They paid me to do it, so
Yeah.
time is a flat circle, whatever.
There you go.
Imran was never allowed back at
money?
Lucasfilm.
That's certainly. I keep hoping they're
Gamescast.
going to invite me for the Star Wars premiere later
think-
this year, but
It's good feedback.
I doubt
Now,
it.
when you're giving fucking reviews like this, do you understand how being an influencer works?
He didn't like the
This was
Mandalorian
fucking
toy.
great.
It's the informer. You can't stop him.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I gotta
This is
inform.
the Kind of Funny Games cast each and every week right here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. We talk about video games, all the things that we love about them. You can get the show. You can watch it live as we record it by going to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Just like our Patreon producers did, Zach Parsley and James Hastings. Zach Parsley, new name.
Heir to the parsley fortune.
Wow.
His family, they were the first to plant the sharecrop known as parsley.
Okay, and here they are now watching the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Thank you very much for that. If you're on Patreon, you also get the pre and post show that are exclusive to those people. Great content.
That's a great joke.
It was good. It was good. It was really
If I
good.
get Kevin to go under his breath, sharecrop. You know I fucking crushed it.
You can also just watch this video on Mondays when it comes out. YouTube.com/KindaFunnyGames for free, or podcast services. Just search for Kinda Funny Games Cast. It's great. We love to give options here. And speaking of options, we're looking into options for what to do with You're Wrong for Kinda Funny Games Cast. Because the nanobiologist, what the fuck was that sound?
Wow.
That sound was
Like
on
a
our side.
garbage
It sounds
truck
like a
crashed
refrigerator
outside.
going down the stairs.
Nanobiologist has been trying to get us to do a You're Wrong section on Gamescast for a long time. And
Because we say a lot of stuff
the
wrong.
science is available now. So Greg Miller figured it out. You can now go to kindafunny.com/Gamescast You're Wrong.
Submit what we screw up as we screw it up.
Screw up as we screw
But
it up.
the
And
difference
then
here is
the
your
next
plan.
week, I'm going to, in the beginning of every episode, we'll go over the things that we got wrong. This can only lead
Why not, though, do it at the end of the episode? We're doing one.
gonna be
This is
the-
how the sausage gets made.
Yeah.
Right?
Because I want more input. I want more people watching and being able
Oh, so maybe
But
just
I think
next
if it's
week.
we fuck up a date, there's really not much more input than, hey, you fucked up the date.
Right. But it's corrections. I agree. You're saying the end of the show.
Yeah.
Well, maybe next week do it at the beginning and then later do it at the end. See how it goes.
What if we just had it? What if we do a sister show called Kind of Funny Gamescast? You're wrong. All we do is
I
look
like
at You're
that.
Wrong or whatever. People
Which you
write.
can find on podcast services around.
Back up.
What if
There
we got
you go.
like graded based on how wrong we are?
See, I can get
Man,
behind
biologists
that.
can only get
I
so
like that too because
Yeah.
Andrea and I used to go over this on Games Daily all the time. It'd be like, "Hey, you're wrong." And you're like, "Well, that wasn't really
Editorializing.
wrong. It was Or
Made
it was just like a little like comment we made, and we weren't wrong. We just didn't finish the thought, and that's like a 1 out of 10 of being wrong. Anyway,
We'll see, man. We'll see how it goes.
I like
It's
that we have it.
It's a journey. You know what I mean? Not a destination. That's what they teach you in school.
I do like the corrections. Like it's one of those things where it's easy to glance over. You say something on a show, people walk away with that as the facts, and on a show like that, it's kind of hard to come back the next week. And how do you do it? But I like this idea. Like you come back with some like needed corrections. Doesn't
I'm
have to
happy
be
I thought of it myself with the help of nanobiology. So perfect. That was great. But I want to start talking about some stuff. Fran, you went to TwitchCon.
I did.
You were
Yeah, that's
actually
why I was
there.
gone last
How
week.
was that?
It was great. San Diego, I think, is the best place for TwitchCon, and
Really?
it's there again next year. Yeah, I
It used
just
to be
like
San Jose, wasn't it?
it's been all over. The truth is, never
First
had.
TwitchCon was here in SF.
Was that the first one? I thought it was first. It may have been because
First
I
was
missed
there.
the first one.
Kindoffunny.com/.
See, we're not wrong. But anyway,
Gamescast, you're wrong.
I only missed one, I think. So I've been to every other one.
Nobody's
It's
ever
been
going to
in
talk
Long-
on the show again.
it's been in Long Beach. It's been in San Francisco. It's been in San Jose. It's been in Anaheim. And it's been in San Diego. I like San Diego just because like the Gaslamp District is crazy.
awesome, yeah.
There's so much to do. It's the right place to kind of have like parties and people
How-
meeting up and all that.
Compared to Comic-Con, because I know you and I go
Yeah.
to Comic-Con every year, hold hands.
Yeah.
How, is it that off the chain crazy outside of the convention center?
No, there was like some music thing going on at the same time. So you kind of had like, it was more like I don't know if it was 20 or 50,000 people. I don't even think it was that. I think it was like 20 to 25,000
Okay.
people like in total or something. So it's not like totally off the rails. The convention itself as well, like very easy to walk around, plenty of space. You can get into all the panels. The panels you might be in line to get in, but then I went into a couple panels. You know, they weren't the most popular ones necessarily, but they were very easy to get into, like the podcast format type panels. Sure. Like Alana did one, awesome one with the Sea of Thieves team, and that was very easy to get in, sit down. I was in one for the Borderlands the EchoCast extension. I almost called it the Gamescast extension. So anyway, easy to get in panels. Everybody's kind of meeting and greeting, hanging out.
Is it only? Is it for like Twitch streamers, or is it for everyone who like lives the Twitch life? I
It's
guess?
the Twitch live. It's it is like a little like VidCon where you're going to meet Gary Whitta. Gary Whitta was there. He actually got to come out.
Finally.
Greg he's not happy.
No
about
one's
that.
going there to meet Gary
He's
Whitta.
glaring at the camera.
If you go to Long John Silver's, you can meet Gary Whitta.
Wow.
On it right now.
I'm the spicy one. Anyway, Gary and I had dinner actually with good friends, Trish Hirschberger, which,
Oh.
you know, great friend.
We have cool friends, Trisha.
Yeah, and Kate Stark. I don't know, you ever met Kate Stark?
I don't know if I know Kate
She's
Stark.
big on Twitch. She's really nice, up from Canada. So anyway, cool place to hang out. I would say there's 4 major components. Easy way to break it down, right? You can, what? Is Andy repeating what Greg said?
Yes.
Okay. So there's 4 major components. It does have an esports stage, and they broadcast actually Apex Legends. I think there was $500,000 on the line, so they had that whole deal going on. So esports stage. Then they have the glitch theater, which is always like the big, like couple thousand capacity. Everybody piles in a room for the big keynotes, and then when there's smaller stuff, there's nobody in this huge room of seats, which is kind of how it went. And then there is a third. Oh, there's the stage. There's the show floor. And that's honestly, it's not like PAX or anything. There's not like a lot of games and stuff. It's a lot of just like
Red Cross booth.
booths. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Was there a Red Cross booth there?
Yeah, I think it was last week we were talking about TwitchCon, and my only memory of TwitchCon in San Francisco the first time was the Red Cross booth was like popping off.
Oh, wow.
It was really,
That's
I think they were
awesome,
giving
though.
something away.
They might have had like good meetups, and so it's a lot of stuff like that. Not a lot to do, honestly, on the show floor. Then the merch stage. Actually, I guess it's 5 things, but the merch. It was the atrium, by the way. If you know San Diego Comic-Con, there's a big open area. All was in there, really nice. Get merch. There's Artist Alley and all that in there. And then, of course, the last thing is just go in and see panels or whatever. So I had a good time, and as usual, it's a lot about seeing people outside of TwitchCon, and especially for me, in addition to meeting people for the first time. Plenty of best friends there, by the way. Thanks for coming up and saying hello. You guys should come next year if you can make the time. And then seeing, like, I saw a lot of other streamers that I never get to hang out with, like a bunch of folks, and we even went down to the beach, and there was like a campfire, and we hung out the last night and that kind of thing. So it was cool.
Did you not like hanging out with anyone?
Did I not like, other than Gary?
Yeah.
Other than that.
Good job.
So Destiny
Yes.
2?
Wow, we're going straight into it.
Shadowkeep? What is
That's the
this?
thumbnail. All
What
right,
is the-
that's the headline.
Destiny 2 Shadowkeep what?
Review.
Oh, here we
Fran
go
and
again.
Bella.
Uh-oh. I can't review the game because like I haven't played the raid. There's a dungeon that doesn't get released until October 29th. There's like a lot of content still to be played out.
What is this game called?
Destiny 2 Shadowkeep.
So why did
That's
people
the
try
new
to you
release.
were wrong me and say it's now called not the expansion, say it's Destiny Fight for the Light or whatever the fuck.
New Light.
New Light.
New Light is the free to play. So it's
But
a
Destiny's free to play.
Destiny. This is confusing, isn't it? You can play that content, which is Destiny 2 Year 1.
Okay.
That is what is free, and it's
Okay.
now called New Light. Because I think if they just called it Destiny 2, which is the content, the original first year,
Yeah.
it'd be confusing. Or if you said Destiny 2
Yeah, it would
Year
be
1,
confusing.
that's not really very appealing to play, that content.
So it's like an MMO,
Plus,
basically. Like
Right.
they're using
is.
expansions to show, like, well, now Final Fantasy 14 is Final Fantasy 14
right.
Shadowbringers.
And Bungie officially says it is an action MMO now. It is not, they don't call it a first-person shooter. And for clarity, too, New Light is actually not just Destiny 2 Year 1, but they've added in some stuff that they've given to you for free over the years. And there's even newer content that comes out as part of the seasons that roll out. It is complicated. I actually think, I'm really glad you brought it up. I get more questions than anything else, I think, from older players who've played some Destiny.
Because I'm coming back, Fran.
Yeah, people
Andy and
are
I
coming
are
back.
coming back.
I already
I
came
can't-
back.
Oh,
I
sorry.
re-
I'm coming back to join Andy eventually.
Yeah, I really want to hear folks that came back after a long, couple years or whatever, which I think is your case, Greg. But anyway, people get confused because they're like, what do I buy? And what's it called? And do I need? And it's definitely suffering a bit from that, I think. It's an intimidating, big world game now. Not, I wouldn't say as big as World of Warcraft, but actually there's like a ton of content. There's a mode called Menagerie. There's like 12 PvP modes, and they're rotating through there. There's all these different raid names that you go into, and I think it's confusing for players. So what is Gambit Prime, and what's Gambit, and how do I get access if I'm this season pass? Oh, what weapon do you have? And even
Pretty
now,
daunting, yeah.
yeah, like somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how do I get Outbreak Perfected? It's an exotic pulse rifle that we got the end of the last season, and I was like, well, it's part of the last season, and so I think the answer, by the way, is if you own Forsaken, you can go off, do this quest, and get it. But even I'm struggling to tell you the exacts because there's a season pass on top of Forsaken, which now I think they sell all together. And now, just for clarity, right, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep is the new SKU, which we're going to talk about. That also comes with a season pass, but it also comes with the layer of free content, a little like Fortnite. You can think about they did the Battle Pass.
Sure.
But you can play Crucible for free, the PvP mode, and there's a lot of strikes to do for free, and it's super accessible. I mean, the value to play it for free, bar none, I will say, is you absolutely should try it if you're into shooters or action MMOs, as it were.
The Battle Pass is cool.
Yeah,
Really,
what do you think
really
of it?
enjoying, I kind of only discovered it because I was was playing it the other night, and one of my friends, Tucker, was in the chat room and was like, "Oh, hit the start menu, go
Jericho?
to seasons." No, Tucker.
A different Tucker.
He was like,
okay.
go to seasons, the tab or whatever, and you could see the battle pass and what you've unlocked. So I was like 3 levels in.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You were getting
And-
notifications,
yeah,
and you're
so
like,
you unlock
who
like
knows?
Glimmer, you unlock like this cool thing, this cool add-on, whatever. It's like, oh, this is pretty neat. It seems more, I guess, easy for my brain to understand.
Right.
Where I'm used to Fortnite's battle pass, I'm used to Apex's battle pass. It's
Exactly.
kind of like they're speaking my language now, you know.
Yeah, that's it. They wanted to give you rewards for just playing the game. Technically, you kind of were getting them before, and again, it's something that Destiny's still going through and figuring out. Like you play the game, and even you've played it before and came back. You were getting these rewards, and you still weren't even sure where they were. There's so much in the UI. I mean, it's a nice problem to have now. We came out of the first Destiny, which you like spun around on Mars and collected something called spin metal, and your brain melted out of your ear out of boredom. That was the first like month, and they've added so much to Destiny.
As someone that doesn't play, like I don't really play this sort of thing, and I never bought a battle pass. From the outside looking in, they seem a lot like work. And having multiple battle passes for games seems like
Sure.
a lot of work.
Great, actually, I think, question. Andy, I wouldn't it looks like the battle pass for ease of the eyes, I think. But would you call it a battle pass that you're like paying for this content? No, it's not quite like that.
To me, it's just I've kind of just been unlocking these things as I'm progressing and doing story missions
Right.
or side missions. Like a
Yeah,
new
there's not,
thing will
like,
pop up, it'll be
challenges and-
oh, cool! I unlocked this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, it does work similar. You're right, but what I'd say is having played both Apex and Fortnite, the way this works is you buy again Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. If you don't even I forget what's included. You want to get the season pass. That is additional. I forget if it's included though, so I don't think it is. Whatever the case, season pass encapsulates there's content coming like the Vex Offensive. It's a new mode. You get that. You get an exclusive something else. The raid, you get some exclusive weapons as part of it. And so you're getting that as well as basically just as you level up, Imran, it's like here's some Glimmer, which is money. Here is a piece of armor, which you actually might earn anyway, and stuff like that. So it's more just like giving you access to stuff.
And I am speaking from a pretty privileged standpoint because we got the game for free. We got the whatever edition. I have
bought
no
mine.
fucking clue. So there's a lot of the stuff I might be talking about to listeners. They may be like, well, I don't have that because I didn't buy that. So I apologize if that's the case. But for me, it's this language that I understand better looking at this battle pass and unlocking stuff as I'm going along. I'm not really quite sure if it's like the Fortnite one where it says, go to all these spots to...
It's not like that.
Yeah, I don't believe it is
Definitely.
like that.
No,
it
it's
feels like
100%.
it's just it feels like
Strictly
I'm leveling
XP.
up.
That's
Yeah.
all that it is. And when you level up, you get some packages. Anyway, so that's just a season pass.
Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. Is that a $60 game?
No, it is a $40 game.
Yeah, $40 game.
Okay.
I believe so.
I was trying to say
What
if
if you
it was
don't
on
have
sale. It's funny.
Destiny?
I was double checking.
Like if you don't have Destiny 2, does it come with Destiny 2?
Well, no, you do have Destiny 2 now because it's free. So that's
Okay.
sort of it. The base game is now free, so you get it included no matter what. Now, the beauty of all this is that you can just buy Shadowkeep, and you don't have to worry about buying all this other content. Again, that was a sticking point, and I think very important for everyone. They keep asking, they're like, what do I need? If you want to play Shadowkeep, you don't need anything except for Shadowkeep. Where in the past, it's like, what level do I need to be? Do I have to play this old thing? And it's like, honestly, nobody wants to do that. That's a new player. It's super punishing, and you're left behind. And so now, just jump in, and you can play. There's no
And
And I
barriers.
can
level
play
D.
with you, right? This
Everybody-
is the big thing that I can jump in with my low-level character.
Yes.
Or whatever, the character I left off on. I don't know where my light's at or anything.
Well,
Do I
it's-
get a mode of light or whatever that boosts me to whatever it needs to be boosted to?
everybody got boosted.
Okay.
So they did this thing, and I don't know if they'll continue to do it at the beginning of each yearly thing or whatever. They boosted everyone to the max power that I was at that I earned like last July or
So I'm
August.
as good as you.
That's right. You start as good as me, but after the last 30 hours. not
Congrats,
anymore.
man.
But no, like it's funny that became a discussion, which is a whole nother ball of wax. Some people were saying, "Hey, do you feel like upset because they gave everybody else this power
Yeah.
that you earned over years?" And I was like, "I don't. I'm not going to tell you to feel like good about it if you do feel bad. In other words, if you're like, I'm kind of bummed that I paid $60 for Destiny 2 originally, and now that's free. And I'm also kind of bummed that I spent all this money and time to level up, and now they just gave it away. But likely you're the player that's going to buy Shadowkeep, and you're going to get that new power, and you do have to earn it.
Can I say Destiny 2 has some like confusing ass jargon? Because like I'm trying to follow this conversation, but then Greg went in with like, oh yeah, I'm not sure what my light's at. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you're right. Your power.
So then, Andy, for
You're definitely not wrong.
for
It's
you
very
coming
difficult.
in, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Do you remember what light is and what all this stuff is? Like,
Well,
or
I
is it
know-
overwhelming?
I know that the overwhelming part to me is opening up the map and just seeing, like, there's part of me that when I entered the game, immediately I was like, I kind of just wish it started off this new campaign for me. Because the game starts you off and you're back at the tower with your character that you've had since the last time you played, but it's now properly leveled. The cool thing is that all your old gear is now at that level as well. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of starting from this baseline. Like everybody's kind of starting off at this baseline.
Yeah, you
right?
all can jump right into the game.
And then immediately I looked at the map. I'm like, fuck, what do I have to do? And luckily, I have my Twitch chat open. And they're like, oh, you have to go to the moon for this and that. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I guess I could have figured that out. But I guess it is kind of confusing to a player who hasn't been on since Forsaken. Since the one where they killed Cade 6 or whatever.
Fuck!
Yeah, that was rough. It was a rough one. I will say that this is going to be like the most. Well, I was talking to Tim yesterday, and he was like, "Whoa, Andy."
Andy got a hot take here.
I mean, like after playing so much Apex and Borderlands, those games control so much better on console than Destiny does, which is like. Andy, how could you?
And you're specifically talking about how the aiming feels.
How the aiming feels, yeah.
But that's like Bungie's bread and butter, right? Like they
Yeah,
should be
that's
good
what
at
they're
that.
Yeah.
known for.
I just feel like even playing Overwatch a lot, like a lot of these newer games, they have a lot more customizable. How do the sticks feel with like the dual zones and like with Destiny? I feel like if I'm barely moving it, the character barely moves, and then one slight fucking millimeter to the right, the character is, like and people are like, well, turn your sensitivity down. Well, then just turning in the game feels like a nightmare because I'm super slow already. Like it, I guess I just got so used to Apex and Overwatch and Borderlands, even a game like Borderlands where like I think people would be like, you're crazy if you think Borderlands controls better than Destiny, but I legitimately do. I just feel like I can aim better. I feel like a better player on those games. So that my experience with it was a lot of frustration. Like,
Really?
I can't fucking aim in this game.
Because you
right
liked
now.
Destiny the first time.
I
or-
did, yeah, I really did, and
Yeah.
I even at this point, I'd say I'm maybe 5 hours in, or maybe 4 hours in, or something like that. And I've been enjoying what I've been playing. I don't really fully understand a whole lot of what's
Right.
going on because it's the typical Borderlands
story.
thing, where maybe I'll listen to the dialogue,
Sure.
maybe I won't, but. I'm shooting the things, and I'm getting cool stuff for it, and it feels good to see those numbers go up.
What do you think of the cutscenes?
Your character talks now, which is I don't remember that.
That happened briefly. Yeah,
Did that happen?
doesn't
Okay.
happen a lot.
I haven't really.
Yeah, no spoilers for that's not a spoiler. That's
have not
happened in the
been really
past.
paying attention, honestly.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you, Fran.
Right. So the woman with the inky
With
bleeding
the-
three
with the-
eyes,
the
Eris
Sam,
Morn.
the Sam Fisher.
Exactly. Sam Fisher. Exactly.
Yeah, she has like 3 green eyes, and it
Yeah.
looks like Sam
Mo-
Fisher.
Oh, she's not.
By the way, good friend of mine and Greg Miller. You met Morla, who is Eris. She's the voice of that creepy woman that you see on the cover.
Yeah.
Morla Gorndon, because she came in and did voice coaching at IGN. You remember that?
Oh,
That was
no.
her. Red hair. She's awesome. She does many other voices in other games. I think this is her best work. But
Wow.
the performance is awesome by her and the characters. But yeah, if you don't know what's going on, it can be confusing. But I would say, yeah, like if you played Borderlands and you saw some of the cinematic scenes where they're animated and like really nicely done. I mean, it's just like that. They're really nicely done. So let me take a step back because I don't want to have to read through You're Wrong next week. So for clarity, Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, which is you can buy it as a standalone product, and it comes, of course, with the base package of Destiny 2 New Light. It includes this season pass. This season is season 8, I believe. Now I'm gonna get screw that up now. But we're in season 8, I think, and then that is going to continue season 9, season 10, etc. So there's 4 seasons over the next year. So what I was trying to say that I screwed up before is Destiny 2 Shadowkeep includes this time the first, bit of the season pass, which is the first quarter of content, so to speak, for a season pass. Am I making sense here?
And the season
I'm not
passes-
following along at all, but
You
At this-
get the thing we were talking about, the extra rewards on the. If you look at it, you get the extra rewards if you have the season pass. So it
Basically,
comes with Shadowkeep.
if I buy Shadowkeep right now, I get everything up until Shadowkeep.
No. And that is, I'm glad you brought it up. Shadowkeep is $34.99.
I thought
fuck.
that
I know,
the
I know, I
answer
know.
was going to be yes for sure.
Shadowkeep is $34.99, so right about $40. That's the standard edition. And if you want to go back and buy the content, which you don't need to play it, that is what is confusing, and I think just worth sticking, making sure that people understand it. If you want to go back and play Forsaken content, it's $25. So you can go back, you can buy that. There's a full story in
So
there.
what's free?
There's raids.
The
Destiny
core
2
game
Destiny
of
2 New
Destiny
Light.
2
Got it.
is
New
free.
Light.
The
So that thing that-
Forsaken expansion, $25.
Exactly.
Okay.
That was
the
Shadowkeep
Shadowkeep expansion,
expansion,
$35.
Okay.
Got it.
Right.
I'm-
And the
okay.
exactly. And then the final step is it does include this quarter of content, this first season. There's another one coming. I think it'll be December or whatever. That season pass you will have to buy. It doesn't include that.
What
but
do you
it's part of
expect the price of that
Shadowkeep.
be?
Oh, I forget if they said what it was going to be yet, so I don't want to screw that up.
But like, I mean, is it like another $25 type thing?
I
or
think it'll
is
be
it gonna
20
okay.
or yeah. Actually, no. Wait. I do know how much it is because I think you could have bought it all at once. It is the total for the year. Crap.
Drum roll, please.
Wait, hold on. No. Because the
It
digital...
was like $25, I think, for the whole year. So it was like $8 to $10 or so. Yeah, I don't have it.
Here's
anymore.
how this is how
I've
Games
gone over this so
Radar-
many times.
Shut up.
Yeah, sorry.
This is how Games Radar explains it. The base version of Shadowkeep costs $35 on all platforms. The digital deluxe edition will run you $60 and comes with 4 season pass credits, letting you access the next 4 seasons of content, as well as some other crap.
Right.
Four
You
season
said it
pass
was
credits.
how much again, Greg?
$60.
60.
So you're looking $25 you to
So I got
for
it
the
right.
rest of it. Yeah.
Good. So it's $25 if you wanted the whole season. So basically, you divide that by 4.
Okay.
This feels
Right?
like a timeshare, like
It's about $7 or $8, but meaning it for
What
the
do
rest
I
of the
gotta
content.
do to get you into the third quarter of Shadowkeep today?
Anyway,
But is the game fun?
yeah,
Are you
let's-
enjoying
Let's
this?
go to the gameplay. So as a hardcore Destiny player, I definitely really enjoyed going back to the moon, which is something we saw before, but it's completely refreshed. It looks beautiful. This was in Destiny 1, but it's got all this new architecture and places to go, and this new like giant keep, this castle, like blood red castle that you go into, and you go back and you do fight some nightmares of these old monsters. So meaning there's a conversation of, isn't this just recycled content? Well, no, because it's completely new missions, and yes, there's recycled pieces, but honestly, it's absolutely nothing that I'm remotely concerned about, and I totally enjoyed going back and fighting these things. They were sentimental to me, but they're still like fun to fight, and it's not the same exact thing. It's different. You have new weapons. There's a new meta on top of it. The meta being they've added armor 2.0, which I'm not going to get too deep into. It's a new way to upgrade, and there's all new armor and weapons and stuff. But anyway, the story itself is probably usually like 6 or 7 hours. You can, of course, do it faster if you're speeding through it, and it comes with like cinematic cutscenes and all that. So that's like the first step in Destiny. I think that's where people get a little confused. They're like, what do you think of the game? Yeah, what's the review? And I'm like, I've only done like the 6 or 7 hour like story, which is fun and all, but you leave that behind as a Destiny player. And you play all these strikes, and you get all these weapons to chase. There's a new dungeon coming out, which is a detailed, they call it 3-person raid. It's kind of, it's meant to feel that way anyway. So really intense puzzle solving, jumping, platforming, fighting, shooting kind of thing. That's coming out later. There's Vex Offensive, a new mode that's not out yet. And the raid drops this Saturday, October 5th.
wow.
If you're listening on Monday, we already went through it, and hopefully
You were the
I
first
did
in the
well.
world to do it, right?
Going for world's first with the Destiny Community Podcast team, but the raids are always beautiful. So I haven't played all that. And honestly, the conversation's still settling. I've just been leveling up and playing the story. But I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend that if you did like Destiny before, especially if you liked Forsaken. If you didn't play Forsaken, I don't know how to communicate it to you, but if you liked Forsaken, I'm like, yeah, you should hop into Shadowkeep. The story is a lot of fun, and it looks like it's kind of taking that same model. Don't expect a huge release of content like Destiny 2 originally was, right? It's sitting on top of that, and there's things that have changed, but it's not, it's not a 40-hour campaign. I think people still think about Halo, right? They're like, oh, isn't it that, I play like whatever, 20, 30 hours of this campaign. You're like, no, it's not just that. There's all these other things you go off
should
and
it
do.
be that though? Like, if you're a Bungie fan and you're like, is Destiny something I'm interested in? And the answer is, well, it's not like Halo. Are you like, if that's what you're expecting from Bungie, are you going to be disappointed by Destiny?
Well, the thing is, they're two different things. So if you want a campaign that you can play single player, that you don't have to worry about all this open world and stuff, that's a beautiful campaign with cinematics and all this. Of course, smart AI, awesome shooting. I 100% would want to have that, meaning instead of it being only 7 hours and it shares some of these components, like any game, like Anthem went through it as well, Division went through it. It's like, oh, I need you to go back out in the open world and I need you to collect a few things. You do it on the moon for whatever, let's call it an hour, and then you go back and you finish some things up. So in other words, yes, a highly cinematic driven campaign that's 20, 30 hours, of course. But it shouldn't only be that. Otherwise, it's not Destiny. You have Halo for that,
Right.
So, meaning I would want both as the answer.
So if somebody came to you and said, Fran, I have $40 to $60 and 3 friends, what should I play, Borderlands, or should I get Borderlands with these friends, or should I get Destiny 2 Shadowkeep? What would you say to them?
It's hard to answer without the long list of, honestly,
That seems to be
right?
the Destiny MO, yes.
It's like, what book should I read, What
The
should
Bible.
I read right now?
Done.
Most bang for your buck.
But I'm not trying to dodge the question. If my personal, for me, like, I'm going to buy Shadowkeep. I really love Borderlands. It's awesome. But it has sort of a limited timer on the amount of content that you're going to get out of it. Where Destiny,
There's an end to it.
yeah, it's an evolving world, and this year they are promising a few more of these. You had to be there events. There's a lot to unpack in terms of how it's changing. I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, the easy answer would be Shadowkeep for me. But for you, it could be very different because, like, compared to Borderlands, you jump in. Yeah, there's no leveling game. We didn't even get into it. But, like, meaning you level up in Borderlands, but it has a nice matchmaking system. You can just hop in with friends, and they've made it really easy. Shadowkeep still, as you play harder content. Actually, no. Borderlands goes through this, right? If you want to play high-level mayhem, you still got to be powerful. So,
Well, sure, but that's mayhem. You can turn that off.
But
Because
with-
that's my question. Right
it's
now, have
easier.
you already torn away from me that next week when I actually jump into Destiny 2, will it not work for us to play together?
it will work. We can go absolutely play stuff. It's
Okay.
just like any game I was getting at, there's going to be harder content to play. If I'm already off playing that, they're called like Nightmare, Master level,
Sure.
super high level stuff, and I'm grinding that. Well, no, you can't play that with me, but I can play that
can come
Nightmare.
down and play with me.
I can play with you on the normal level.
Okay.
And so I can help
But
you
is that
without.
a total waste of time for you?
No, it's not. I mean, it depends on what you're chasing. Sometimes you're chasing a weapon or whatever. But
Gotcha.
what I was going to say, Borderlands is great because it's really like accessible. You just shoot stuff all the time. The moment to moment, you're just constantly laying bullets into everybody. Pure chaos, right? This is definitely more of that MMORPG feel where it's a lot more tactical. So you really do think about. I like the gunplay in Borderlands. It's great, but man, the gunplay in Destiny and the thinking that goes into now, what they've really gotten into is Shadowkeep, which I have yet to quite experience, is you're building characters more. So they've added all these mods that true RPG feel. It's like, wait, I'm going to get this mod that now I can attach to my gun that changes the way it hits on shields. I mean, it's really deeper building into characters, which we still are getting into, but it's a lot deeper, than Borderlands in that respect. Where in Borderlands you're just trying to get all the best gear.
Sure.
if that
With
makes
the
sense.
with the tear off from Activision,
Yeah.
do you see them kind of making the right decisions? Like, do you think that it's going to take a while until it's fully their product, or are you already seeing that now?
I think it's going to take a while for, it's like sort of the band lost its producer and manager or whatever that it had for a while, and it's hard to find your new vibe, right? So I think they're just getting there, though. I feel like, yeah, we got the new single track, and we're like, yeah, this is a lot of Armor 2.0 and some of this free-to-play stuff. It moved to Steam. You're like, yeah, I'm liking the new sound, but we haven't really got a full compendium yet, And so I think the easy answer is we're seeing all this stuff like cross-save that we're not sure what held it back. PlayStation, Activision, exclusive deals. We don't know, but
All
they've
the
certainly hinted. Yeah. And so that's one of the many things that, I think we're seeing them move in the right direction. And for them to come out and say it's an action MMO, I got to wonder if Activision would have ever been like, no, you're not calling it an
They
action.
definitely
Yeah,
were.
for
They
sure.
definitely were.
Exactly, right? So somewhat facetious, that's the type of change you're seeing. They're moving this to be more of an actual World of Warcraft inspired MMO, and it's nobody's really done it other than Borderlands setting the tone for this. But man, they're going deeper than anybody else in the shooting space. Warframe, to be fair, I don't know, is anybody a Warframe expert in here?
No.
Warframe's done some really cool stuff.
I as somebody who again hasn't played in a while, I'm just like, God, there's still no new alien race to fight against.
Yeah.
Like it's still
Still the Vex or whatever?
It's still all the Fallen, the ugly ones,
Yep.
the really scary ones. What are they called?
The Hive.
The Hive, yeah, and then the Vex as well. But in this one, like you're in this new world, and they are slightly modified, similar to when you fought the versions of them when they were like kind of these transparent black figures.
Yeah.
Like the Dreamscape one?
Yeah, the Dreamscape one, whatever the hell they were called. It's that, but now they're
Taken.
like
They're nightmare.
they're nightmare versions, and it's
Right.
like, this is just give me a new enemy. I just
Yeah.
want like a new thing to look at and like have it feel more like the universe is bigger than it really is, because really
Yeah.
we've just been seeing the same sort of enemies for a while. You know?
Right.
Agree
I
with
was
you.
pretty disappointed by that.
Yeah, Forsaken brought new enemy types, the Scourge, but yeah, we're not really seeing it. Yeah, this kind of happens that you get into that zone where they're recycling, current enemy class and stuff. It's been a conversation of like, well, what is Destiny look like now? What does Destiny look like now? Is it Destiny 3, total refresh, blow everything up, all the old enemies go away, etc.? Or do they build on this, but build it? How do they make a bigger drop? Because again, this is a $35 piece of content. It's not a $60 full release, but people are asking like, wait, are we ever going to see that again? What should be done? What do you guys think is, not Destiny hardcore fans? I mean, Andy, you've played quite a bit though, right?
I mean,
decent amount.
A decent amount back in the day, yeah. But I another thing that kind of stood out to me was, you revisit the moon, and that probably holds some sort of special place in
Yeah,
some
it's
Destiny
sentimental.
fans' house.
It's
But
cool.
for me, I was like, we're in the same areas from Destiny 1,
Right.
where this isn't like in Metal Gear Solid 4 where you go back to Shadow Moses. This isn't like that really cool. Whoa, they brought this back. It's like, oh, I was playing in this same spot 3 years ago.
Yeah, Destiny
4
1
years
was this
ago, whatever.
generation. It's not it's a little early to have nostalgia for
Exactly,
things.
yeah, and granted there are some newer areas on the moon.
Oh,
But
yeah.
a lot of the patrolling stuff, a lot of those missions are in
same.
the exact same area. Like I remember walking into this interior, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen all this before. This is
Yeah, it is. It is one-to-one in
weird.
some cases. Yeah, it's all again redone and it looks sharper and all the but it is the same area in some respects. Actually, I think there was a number though that it was like there's 50% additional space or
And
60.
it's possible I just haven't
so it
gotten
is sort of
there yet.
double the size, so to speak. It is double the size in terms of things to do there. But yeah, half of it is somewhat familiar. You're like, oh yeah, we've been here before.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that feeling is a turnoff for some. They're like, yeah, I wanted a new area, right? You want a new planet. So. Anyway, my question was, do you guys think we need a full wipe the slate clean, do a Destiny 3 that's $60, you can call it Destiny Next, whatever it is,
Or keep expanding?
or just give me in other words, just give me a $60 expansion. Now, that's two ways to look at it, meaning wipe this whole like conversation clean of what do I need, where do I go, this planet's old, this new thing's here, or so wipe that slate clean and do Destiny Next or 3, or take what we've got, reshuffle, but give me the big campaign that Imran's talking about and give me just more enemies and bigger content, but expand it and just stick with that. That goes for the game engine too, obviously, right?
I mean,
I
either
think
way,
that
you're going to lose
5-year-old
people,
game
but
engine.
like
Yeah.
you might as well do it in the way that will let you revolutionize and try and get more people in. I think if you do a $60 expansion, a lot of people just are not going to jump on board. But if you do like a call it Destiny 3 or a title without a number, they would probably have a bigger chance of like relaunching this game as the MMO they want it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they need to take the next year to get these expansions out and kind of work through the issues and growing pains of being independent. And then once they get that figured out, launch a new title that is going to be the jump on point for everybody.
I think you could do a $60 expansion and get people in. Like, I think it's not impossible. If it was Destiny : fucking night farts, I don't know what you call it, but I mean, it's like it literally is that you can serve both audiences there. If it is, especially if it's a standalone download, right? That if you are Fran and you've been playing nonstop, guess what? All your stuff carries over and it's there, and blah blah blah. We're warp jumping you to a different part of the galaxy, and there are new planets, there are new things, it's all brand new in that way, right?
But it would still be an expansion, you're saying. It'd just be
Yeah.
big and all new.
And
it's almost
but
the
then as
same.
a brand new, anybody could step in and go through and
Right.
do it, right? Because I mean, the problem is like right now, leading up to this one right here,
Shadowkeep.
God,
yeah.
I lost
It's all
that.
right.
Sorry.
It is
Shadowkeep, right? Like I like Destiny 2. I enjoyed Destiny 2. I platinum Destiny 2, right? Had a great time with it, and then stepped back and never did it. And so with all the hype and people talking about this and the excitement of it, I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I want to try it. And then this week I've been playing a bunch of embargoed stuff that I can't talk about on this Gamescast, so I haven't. And I'm out this weekend, and then next week, but like hearing you guys talk about it, it's like, okay, cool. So it's the same enemies and it's the same environments. and there's new. It's just like, well, why don't I just keep trying to platinum Borderlands 3? Like, do I want to pull away from that? I need a platinum Control too, and it's like
For sure.
you
It
start
sounds
getting
like-
into that. Whereas if it was, boom. Brand new experience. The same thing that, like, honestly, is a lapsed Destiny 1 player when Destiny 2 came around, and it was like, oh, cool. Yeah, let's jump back in and have a new story and a new thing, and not knowing it would be same enemies and stuff like that. If they were to do a Destiny expansion that was $60, that was serving both audiences of, hey, Fran, warp to the new part of the galaxy, carry over whatever the hell, certain things carry over, not everything. And then, hey, Greg, restart, or kind of pretty much, right? Like, you don't need to have worried about all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. What's interesting is I think if you buy Shadowkeep and Forsaken, so $25 for Forsaken, $35 for this, $60. There's a lot of new content in there that you missed.
Sure.
If you never played Forsaken.
But is any of it, like, revolutionary is the thing? Is it? Do I jump back
Revolution is
in?
a strong word, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what we were talking about, right? Of how do you get the most people back in?
Absolutely, different.
New planet, new enemies, new everything.
Right, and I'm not addressing that. I'm just saying in terms of amount of content, what's interesting, you never played Forsaken, right?
Right.
So whole new Dreaming City, it is new enemies, actually.
Yeah.
So I actually think you might get some wonder out of combining those two things, but unfortunately, they are two different products. So what I mean by that, it's not like you can just hop in and you're like, you still run into, you're like, where do I start?
Yeah.
You probably just jump in the Shadowkeep, but you could go back and play on the Dreaming City. It's a place really all brand new, amazing, actually. Really, they added so much cool stuff in Forsaken that, for me, it's old. But if you never played it, actually, you combine that with Shadowkeep, it's a ton of really cool stuff. So
It's the thing that Destiny...
But it's confusing.
I think, especially with the launch of Destiny 2 and what that game was at launch, you saw the struggle and the two different mindsets of who are they trying to appeal to. And Destiny 2 was a game designed to appeal to me, and it worked. And I played it, and I platinumed it, and I put it down and never picked it up again, because that's how I play games and how I think they, at launch, wanted people into that game. However, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fran, it seemed like it alienated the hardcore Destiny players who were like, hey, I'm done with this too. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I want to grind. I want to
Yeah.
run. I want to chase. Like, I'm not doing that. And so to get to where we are now and have it be, hey, yeah, we are talking about for Shadowkeep grinding and this and different levels and battle passes. It's all this stuff to keep you engaged and never let you go, which is what I'm speaking out of turn here to an extent, but what I imagine the people who listen and care the most for the Destiny community and the podcast and all those people, that's what they want. And whereas it's still, for me, I look at that and I'm like, oh, cool, I get what you're doing, but even for me, it's like, cool, why don't I pick up DC Universe Online again? Because that's what that game is, and that's what I love for it. No, I'm not even. Like,
I do know
I'm
what
not
you
even
mean.
making a joke. I mean, if
Yeah.
I'm looking for a game that is the everlasting gobstopper, I look at my character and I'm like, she's not as cool as I want her to be. In Destiny, right?
Totally.
Like, I want her costume to look more customized and more of this.
right. There is so much content. I would love to, and I know we're probably going along here, Tim. So
Tim loves it. He loves it.
I don't love it that much,
Yeah,
to be honest.
So what I'd love to do, since there's crossplay, and I own, I don't know in Shadowkeep, I'll have to see if I can
Cross save.
get that. What did I say?
Cross play.
You're right. Cross save. Thank you, Imran. Otherwise, we'd be facing You're Wrong down. Kindoffunny.com/Gamescast. You're Wrong, right?
Yep.
Got it. So great. I'd love to hop over. I just got to get the game.
Give me
and
the
then
walkthrough?
Do a little tour. Take you to a few places.
Okay.
But we need to get you Forsaken too. But take you to a few places and see, wait, what are you feeling?
Go on a little vacation. You know what I mean?
Just a little Fred's tour stop of Destiny
No, but
2, man.
the reason. So
Greg,
I'm
wear your
saying
little
this.
fanny pack. Wear your sandals.
Can we get a churro?
Honestly, it does represent Destiny's current problem, and why I asked the question I did is, you're like, where the bleep do I go? And they're hopping in the streams. They're like, what do you do? I'm overwhelmed. There's these enhancement cores, and there's prisms, and there's ascendant shards, and there's
Oh my
7
God.
vendors.
That's another thing.
And-
As somebody who was already overwhelmed by the amount of currencies in this game, to
There's a lot.
unlock additional ones, I'm like, oh my, there's more shit that I can buy with shit.
Yeah,
You know?
they did in some ways it's simplified. So what I would say is this is an MMORPG. You're not gonna hop in and play League of Legends and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna have a casual game. It's World of Warcraft the same, Final Fantasy the same, right? These are even Monster Hunter. You're like, what do I do? Like, you start at the beginning and you learn a lot, and that's just how it goes. But what I was gonna say is that is Destiny's biggest issue. But I feel like if you get a little FM3 guided tour.
Woo!
So I'd love to try, like, Greg, when you're ready, take you to a few spots, though. Be like, check this out. And I honestly think, meaning it would really help. You're like, oh, that's what this mode is? There's no good way in the game without getting a friend to play with who's played it to understand what's going on. I absolutely think it's its biggest issue. It's overwhelming. I'm really enjoying it. Of course, like every release that has not been the first Destiny, and even Destiny 2, imagine it will launch more of the style that it is now. There's a lot of content. This is much thinner. There's only so much to do. But for hardcore fans, there's a good 4 to 6 weeks. Easy. The rollout pace is really good. So I'm very excited about it. I'm really enjoying it. Looks awesome on PC. We'll see how it looks on PlayStation.
I just requested you a code for the PS4 Shadowkeep,
Oh,
so
thank
you
you.
can do it with me. And then next week,
And
let's
Forsaken.
do it.
No,
I
wait.
need Forsaken?
I need both. I only have Destiny 2.
Let's just worry
Let's
about
go over that
Shadowkeep right now. But I'm saying next week, I'll jump on your stream when we do it.
I
And
hate that there's no
yeah.
60 frames. I'll just end it with that.
Totally, absolutely.
Like on console, there's still no 60 frames, and I think it sucks.
So I know Tim wants to move on. I wanted to end my thought by saying I think the next Destiny is in line with what Greg said. We'll get another expansion like this, figure things out, go to the next generation, get those consoles out, and in 2021, end of that year, September 2021, go big and refresh.
Boom. Andy, Apex Legends Season 3.
The new world is really cool to play in. It's super different. There's all these different biomes. There's like, I'm not super sure what the lore is in this new arena you're playing in, but there's like a lava area. There's an ice area. There's a very green area. It's really, really cool and different looking.
Sounds like Metro.
Compared to King's Canyon, where King's Canyon was just kind of like, a landscape, a generic ass, like a Halo looking landscape. The new hero Crypto is pretty neat.
Superman's dog?
Yeah, exactly.
Good crossover.
He sends out a little drone that you can go sort of survey the landscape, and it'll if it sees an enemy, it'll target it, and it'll make him visible to your teammates and yourself.
How many characters are there now?
There are 8. I forget.
I'm surprised you even know it to that
I
detail.
believe
That's
8.
really good.
I believe 8. Yeah. And so Crypto, I'm looking at the grid in my head or whatever. His ultimate ability is pretty neat as well. So with his drone, he can set off like an EMP that will take off the enemy shield and also damage him a bit, I believe. Kind of funny to slash your Gamescast, all that. You're not right.
It's the URL right.
Kind of
Yeah,
right.
and so if enemies are hiding in a certain spot and you know they're there, you can go in with your drone. Now they can shoot your drone, but if you kind of like are a little bit sneaky with it, you could set off the CMP. It'll really fuck them up, and then you rush in and they have no shields.
11.
11. Oh
legends.
shit! Wow. I knew it was an odd number because it didn't line. There was
Yeah.
always this little spot missing.
Why'd you say 8?
Yeah.
Oh, did I say 8? Oh, never
He
mind.
said,
You said
8 or 9.
9,
You're
then
only
you
off by a
backed
few.
up.
Got it,
Cut
got
us
it,
some
got it.
slack, everybody.
Because I was picturing like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, but really goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's what it was. Ultimate ability is really cool. Yeah, uses that EMP. But another cool thing about him is like while you can leave your drone sort of facing an area, and if enemies don't see it, it'll. You can play as Crypto while the drone is still floating in the air. So you could set out the drone and you're controlling it, but then you can enter back in first person mode, gun mode, shooting mode, while your drone is still floating in the air. And as long as you don't get too far away, because there's a distance length, there's a length on it that it'll say like, oh, I'm out of range or whatever.
Does it just follow you?
No, it doesn't follow you. But if like I'm picturing end game sort of scenarios where it's like we got to watch this direction, but we also have to watch this direction. Put up the drone, let it sort of just float up in the air, and if enemies are coming, it'll alert us and say, "Hey, enemies spotted" or whatever the hell. So he has a lot of really cool tactical. So there's a lot of cool tactical strategies you can apply there. But yeah, the game just feels so fucking good. Like again, I'm back on it, and it feels so great to play, the sliding and everything. That's another thing going back to Destiny where it's like, the slide doesn't
Doesn't
not
have
feel
that
anywhere
slide.
as good as Apex does. Yeah.
The Apex slide is dope.
Yeah, but it's fun as shit. It's really, really fun. They took away some of the add-ons. Like Skull Piercer is like an infamous sort of add-on you would add on to the Wingman pistol or your Longbow Sniper, and it adds like a crazy amount of headshot damage. They took that away from the game, which kind of sucks, but they've been balancing other abilities. Also in this world, there's these little robot drones that the floating robots in Revenge of the Sith in the at Mustafar, the
Yeah.
little floating like little things that are holding
Does it
stuff.
jump on?
Yeah.
Similar to they're a lot smaller, but they are holding a sphere of loot that blinks the different colors of rarity.
Oh,
and
that's
if you
cool.
shoot it at the right moment, it'll
nice.
like
Oh,
kind of
that's
like
cool.
a Mario.
It's like a little
Super
mini
Mario,
game.
yeah.
It's Super
Totally.
Mario, yeah. So if
Now
you
you're
see it
speaking,
like
Tim.
blink orange
There
and
you
then you
go.
shoot it, it'll drop the legendary loot, and in there you'll have a legendary helmet or whatever, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, the landscape is really interesting, and again, we weren't really expecting a new place to play in for this season, and it was a pleasant surprise because we just thought they were gonna keep adding on in Kings Canyon, but to get a whole new giant arena, it's really fucking awesome.
Cool. Go for it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, as someone who's played a ton of Fortnite, you've seen that evolution, and yeah, as someone who's gone through Apex Legends Season 2, which I think was met with a little bit of like, well, nice changes. It didn't feel big enough.
Right.
How would you compare sort of what we see in Fortnite with its seasons, how Season 2 looked versus this?
Well, I mean, with Fortnite, it's just so much different because they have, like, obviously an endless bank to just have all these crazy world cataclysmic events or whatever. We don't really have that in Apex. Like, they added, in Kings Canyon, they added the giant walking sort of titans, those big behemoths that are just those giant-ass, like, brontosaurus-looking things. That didn't really change a whole lot, but they did change some of the areas. I thought they were just going to keep going the Fortnite route and keep on adding on or removing.
Stick this
You know, there's a world event here where maybe this happened and now that's gone. But no, like to get a whole new arena to play in, I think that was like so surprising.
So it does feel a lot bigger.
Yeah, it feels
And
huge. Yeah,
Is the old map gone?
old map is not playable for the time being.
They've sunset it for now.
Yeah, for now. I don't know if they're going to bring it back at any moment, but it is really, really cool that there's just new place to play in and a lot of different. There's a train that kind of goes around the area that you can get onto. I believe it can kill you if you're in front of it and stuff like that. There's these new ways to sort of get around the world where the balloons that you latch onto that shoot you up into the sky and you kind of redeploy somewhere else.
It's got balloons.
Well, that was always in there, but they have these geysers now in some of the places in the world where like they shoot up water and you can jump in there.
Oh, you're talking about when you go up to like,
to redeploy and fly somewhere else or whatever. Yeah. I thought they did a great job with this. And again, there's spots that I haven't really dropped in yet in this world because they're a little too hot for me.
So new. Yeah. And
But yeah, it's cool. I'm really, really digging it and I can't wait to keep playing.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Andy.
you're welcome.
You can go back to editing or whatever it is
Andy,
you
can I
need to
have
do.
more water?
But before we move on, let me
Can I also?
tell you about our sponsors. This episode of Gamescast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still using one of the big wireless providers in 2019, have you asked yourself what you're paying for? Between expensive retail stores, inflated prices, and hidden fees, you're being taken advantage of because they know that you will pay. Enter Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost because everything is online. Mint Mobile saves on retail locations and overhead, then passes those savings on to you. I had to set this up for my mom a couple of months back. Could not have been simpler. You have the phone. If you already have a phone, you're good and you're set. You just need to get the little chip and put it in. Otherwise, pretty much any phone works. It's very simple. They could not make this any easier to get. Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month. Every plan comes with unlimited nationwide talk and text. With Mint Mobile, stop paying for unlimited data that you're never going to use. You can choose between plans with 3, 8, or 12 gigabytes of 4G LTE data. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/kinda. That's mintmobile.com/kinda. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/kinda. Imran, I want to hear about Code Vein.
Code Vein is a game that they revealed like, I want to say like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
a couple years.
And it was like their pitch for it was not anime Dark Souls, but it was pretty much, hey, yo, this is anime Dark Souls. Then they ended up delaying the game because like quality concerns or they wanted to spit polish it up or whatever.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a year ago, right?
It was supposed to be last September.
Yep.
So it finally came out this year. Bandai Namco gave me a code like, hey, no one else is going to talk about this game. Can you please like play it out and see what you think? It is reductive, I guess, to go say again anime Dark Souls, but that is the long-term thought with this game is while I'm playing it, this is what Dark Souls would be like if they wanted to make it more anime. And when I say that, I don't just mean the art style. I mean things like that game has way more story than any Dark Souls game you're going to play. It is basically the foundation of that game is it's been the apocalypse. At one point, a woman got a disease and she started spreading that disease through, just contact, and people she would kill would come back to life. And the only way they would for sure die would be to turn to ash.
So when they come back, are they like zombies or they're just back?
They're just back. They're called revenants, which is, vampires basically. But eventually, if they didn't get enough blood, they would go crazy and become like zombies. And those zombie kind of vampires are the main antagonists of the game, the kind of stuff you'd fight normally. And basically, this is all just a way for the game to go, oh, this person, or you died, but you came back at a certain point. Thank you. I have played about, I would say, about 15 to 17 hours of that game. At no point have I actually cared about the story.
Oh.
Okay.
But it shoves it in your face all the time with
Anime.
yeah. The cutscenes are mostly skippable, but so you have blood codes in that game. As your main character is somebody who can equip different codes, or essentially builds or job classes or whatever. So like it'll say this person's good with halberds, this person is good with long range and magic and stuff like that. So you'll equip the codes, and whenever you need to open more skills for them, it'll make you go through and unlock their memories. And how you unlock the memories is a kind of Life is Strange style walk through and see like little vignettes play of like them talking and what their life was like and stuff like that. And these when you need to do like 30 of these at a time, it is so annoying to have to go so I end up skipping a lot of them, and then I feel bad because I feel like I'm skipping story, but I also don't really care about the story. So I feel like no matter what I do, I'm not enjoying that part of the game.
The sirens are on our end.
Did you say you played a lot of Dark Souls?
Yes, I played every Dark Souls game, and I played Dark Souls 1, I want to say like 4 to 5 times.
Wow.
Does the combat, how does it compare with, because it's not From Software. Does it have sort of that same feel?
It's an emulation of From Software style of you hit them twice and roll away kind of thing. Because of how easy it is to move around in this game, the sirens are on our end.
It's on our end. Be alarmed.
Because of how in Dark Souls has like very impeccable hitboxes.
Yeah.
You know exactly where a sword will hit you because that sword, the hitbox is exactly that weapon.
Yeah.
Because of how easy it is to move around in Code Vein, they had to make the hitboxes bigger, which really pisses you off sometimes. You're like, I'm standing behind this guy at a decent clip, a decent bit behind him.
You're still getting hit.
Yeah, I'm still getting hit because otherwise you'd be backstabbing him constantly and never getting hurt. So I understand they need to balance that, but it becomes this frustrating endeavor of this guy is super fast, his hitboxes are hitting me no matter where I go, I'm not actually enjoying this boss fight.
Does this game do anything better than Dark Souls?
Character creator.
Character creator is good. Character creator, I think I tweeted this, it has 300 options for eyebrows.
It's really
Jesus.
cool.
Eyebrows have always been one of the hardest things for me when I'm creating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't really know.
You can make your person look permanently quizzical.
Uh-huh.
And just constantly look like The Rock with one eyebrow up. But
Yes.
the character creator is extremely you can take the armor and you can paint that any color you want. There's a lot of, and if you're one of the people who doesn't like the Dark Souls their vague story, this game has more story. I'm not gonna say it's less vague because it does just toss things at you, and then when you're starting to get a grasp on it, it starts tossing more terms at you. So it's not necessarily it still tells a story that unfolds, but it's not necessarily less vague. But it does those things better than Dark Souls. There's no PvP element, so you can play multiplayer and summon someone in and come help you, but you're never going to be fighting them, so you don't need to worry too much about is my build going to be good enough to fight someone who's invading. You don't need to worry about somebody stopping you midway and forcing you back to the last save point. I will say the map design, this is where it really falls apart compared to Dark Souls. Dark Souls, where you walk around, let's say you're in Anor Londo. By the way, this game also just straight up has Anor Londo. They're both based on the same French castle. So it's literally straight up the exact same area. So you walk in that area. In Dark Souls, you have a million landmarks, this is that place where these Black Knights are and where you have to go up this civic tower, and you know what it looks like. So even though you don't have a map, you internally make a map very easily. Code Vein has a map. It is not well suited for things that overlap, but because of the way, because it doesn't have a map, it doesn't have landmarks to really figure your way around, so everything is a very maze-like dungeon. So you are going through these areas trying to figure out, okay, have I been here before? Well, it says I've been here, but is it saying that because I'm overlapping on a specific thing?
Yeah.
The enemies here aren't dead, but I hear an enemy. Is there one that I've seen before? And it's such a confusing mess sometimes. I accidentally, in the very first part of the game, walked into what was essentially the Blight Town equivalent of a big-ass swamp that had no real, signposting or anything like that. I didn't know it was supposed to be technically the third area of the game. So it was incredibly difficult. The water in the area slows you down, so I couldn't really figure my way out. I get to the boss. The boss is very much meant for you to already know what you're doing and already understand status effects, already have armor to mitigate some of that status effects. Again,
Dark
not
Souls inspiration there.
yeah, you can teleport using like the bonfire equivalent, which are missile, like MISTLE.
Yep.
But if you don't know you're not supposed to be there, there's no point in teleporting out, and you can't just walk out because you fall down to get there. So when I got to the boss is, by the way, like an anime monster girl that like is a serpent, and
Perfect.
She has a status effect whenever she hits you that slows you down, like puts you in a slow mode. I did not, because it doesn't say like slow or anything like that. It just shows like a.
You're just like, this game's broken.
Pretty
Frame
much
rate's
like
dying.
I thought like, is it just I'm not good at this game or whatever? But it's a iconography is just a ball and chain,
Okay.
and I don't know what that means at that point in the game.
You're married.
Yeah, like Dark Souls says. Perhaps like comically, it's just like poisoned.
Yeah.
Like you know what's happening at that moment.
Sure, at a glance, yeah.
Yeah, but this is okay. Ball and chain. I guess I'm moving more slowly. Is that happening because they're hitting me and it happens in one hit, or like what? Is there supposed to be something I can do to mitigate this?
Yeah.
It doesn't explain that, so it takes a lot of the worst things about Dark Souls, and then
The obtuseness.
yeah, and just doesn't like build on it in any interesting way. Its main thing is the same thing it was doing with God Eater. Because it's the same team. It's the God Eater team.
Yeah.
It's trying God Eater, their main claim to fame is we have a story unlike Monster Hunter. We have a story unlike Dark Souls. And it's okay, but what else are you doing?
What do I
new?
care? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to say I hate the game. There are interesting things about it, and I'm kind of jazzing for a Souls-like because the Sekiro was great, but it wasn't quite filling that same stop and pop kind of need.
Sure.
But honestly, I kind of wish I just like played the Surge 2 instead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I didn't review this game. I just kind of played it and like did it. But if I was to give it like a score, I'd probably say like it's a solid 6.
Okay.
Just maybe not
like,
any better
okay.
than that. Yeah.
You might get into it if it's your jam, but otherwise it does have its issues.
If the words anime Dark Souls appeal to you, then this is your game.
The game
Yeah.
for you. Dragon Quest 11. Not Tales.
Echoes of an Elusive
Echoes
Age.
of an Elusive Age. Definitive Edition S.
Dragon Quest 11S.
Okay.
yeah,
Echoes of an
Shadow
Elusive-
keeps
Yeah.
confusing.
Okay. Cool.
You just need to say Dragon Quest 11. I fucking love this game.
Okay. Are you playing on Switch now?
I played it on Switch. I own it on PS4, but I have never booted it up. By the time I was ready, I'll do a 100-hour JRPG right now. They had already detailed what the Switch version was going to be. So I'm like, I might as well just wait for it. I am glad I waited. This game is great. It is. I don't know. I'm not going to say like it's objectively like the best thing I've ever played or anything like that. But for the JRPG itch I have, it is exactly that. And I was so worried it was going to be so traditional to the point of being frustrating. Because I mean, it's Dragon Quest. Like to go into a story a little bit. I interviewed the producer Okamoto last year at PAX East. And I was like, the first question I asked is, why do you think Dragon Quest is not popular in America? And he's like, can I ask you why you don't think, or why you think it's not? I said, people think it's too traditional a series. That's like when you compare it to Final Fantasy, which is supposed to be very modern. Dragon Quest, everyone thinks Dragon Quest is still the same game it was on the NES.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I can kind of see that. I don't know why America thinks that. I think they just don't play enough of the games. And playing this game, I can 100% see why he thought that was weird. Because, so when you think about Dragon Quest, you think, okay, this is going to be a very standard, traditional thing, not going to have many options. It's going to like lead me by the nose like JRPGs do. And as I started playing, it's like, yeah, this is kind of how this feels at first. There's like limited camera options and stuff like that. But then I start playing it more, and it's extremely modern. I never have to worry about where am I going? What is my heading? I can start and stop whenever I want. Because on the map, it'll show you like, yeah, this spot is, if you don't know where to go, there's a little pink dot that'll show you exactly who to talk to give you a hint.
So necessary for an RPG.
Yeah.
But it also have like a text box saying if you want a bigger hint, it's like, yeah, just go straight here. This is where you need to go. Or there's also a button to talk to your party. Or if you don't even want to press that button to talk to your party, you can just turn around and talk to the person in your party you want to talk to, who will be like, yeah, we need to go to the waterfall. And they're like, it's stuff like that you can just turn on all these options. There was a point where I was getting frustrated cameras slow down when you're inside because you slow down a little bit. It's like, oh, this is kind of frustrating just walking around. And I was like, I'm probably not going to be able to call this. And I looked in the camera settings. Oh, yeah, here's camera speed inside.
Indoor
Yeah.
settings. Wow, okay.
And the Switch version adds so much stuff. Like there are things to make it harder for you on the main menu. So for example, you could set it so I I want it so if the main character falls in battle, then everyone falls, like Persona style, everyone loses kind of thing. Or you can set it so townspeople lie to you. You just go there like
Go to the waterfall. You go
Yeah.
to the waterfall is nothing.
fall off.
it's
and die.
basically that. Like you go to the people will tell you like
Why would you want that?
I turned it on for a little bit. It's like, yeah, you can just leave town if you want to head through the front. And they told me this because I'm wanted in town. So I ended up getting like caught by the guards because they told me the wrong area because they wanted me to get caught.
Huh.
And it's stuff like that. It ends up feeling like such a modern RPG, but it still has a level of heart that I don't think I've felt in a lot of modern JRPGs.
Wow.
So this is a very early game spoiler, but your character realizes that they're the reincarnation of something called a luminary, which is supposed to bring light to the world. So he goes to the king of Heliodor to announce himself and say, I don't know what you need me to do, but this is who I apparently am. The king apparently has an issue with the luminary, traps him up in a dungeon, and then you eventually break out. When you return to your hometown, which like raised you as a kid, to like go talk to your mother and like, hey, I need to know what to do. You find that like for whatever reason, everyone thinks that the character you are is supposed to be 6 years old and is off playing somewhere. So you eventually like go find your grandfather, who you explain the whole story to him, and he's like, well, I don't really know what's going on, but like go find this, like I buried something for you underneath the waterfall. And so you find out, like, then you go back and find that the tree, which is like the main thing in Dragon Quest XI, like the Yggdrasil tree, is sending you a vision of the past. So, because it didn't want you to deal with the fact that your entire town has been razed to the ground. Because the king basically destroyed the entire village and killed their family and all that. So you go to the waterfall, you dig up whatever your grandpa was telling you, and you find a letter from him saying, I know you don't believe this, but I talked to you today. I talked to an older you. And it's this very like heartwarming letter saying like, and it finishes with this thing that grandpa apparently tells you like, bear no grudges in life and leave your heart full of love and you'll be fine. And this game is supposed to be very, like when I think about Dragon Quest, I don't think about a personal story. But playing this, it's actually like tugging at my heartstrings a lot more than like any recent Final Fantasy game has.
Wow. That sounds cool. That's really cool setup for it.
I'm really loving it, and the only thing that's bothering me so far is because the game has like this English kind of localization of like European stuff. There's a character named Eric who is supposed to sound like maybe Slavic, Icelandic. It's hard to pick that accent. It comes off like Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it's very like New Jersey
Like
accent.
Brooklyn-y, like, yeah.
And like I can kind of hear the Icelandic stuff occasionally, but not often. And it's just breaking me out. So I'm like, I'm just gonna turn it to Japanese because this is bothering me so much. But I'm really in love with that game. Who knows if it's gonna last the next 90 hours? But I'm very glad I've picked this up, and it is, like I said, exactly the kind of game that scratches the itch for me right now.
And it's really pretty too.
It
Even
is-
the Switch version.
Yeah, it is. It's not 1-to-1 for the PS4 version because obviously resolution's lower, lighting's a bit lower. But it is, of the impossible Switch ports like The Witcher and Doom and all that, this is, I think, the best looking one. Like I cannot recommend enough if you're interested in this game. The Switch version is the one to play because it has you can change it to 2D mode whenever you want to make it look like an SNES game.
Yeah.
And it's faster.
Such a cool.
So, like there was a point where like it says, oh well, you're not gonna be able to get into the king's castle during nightfall because like they just closed the gates. So like rather than stay at the inn, I'm just gonna turn to 2D mode at the church, then go outside and just grind for a while on enemies. And it's like, oh well, I gained 2 levels while waiting.
Do you think that was like a intended feature?
It was for people who want to play it that way and don't really care for like the big 3D epic kind of thing. And if you want to play it that way, if you want to play it like a lost in time JRPG that does not exist anymore, it still functions perfectly well like that. Exact same game, exact same story.
Yeah, that
Really
was
fascinating.
that was cool. I remember when they showed that at the show, I was like, really? And it's gonna play like the same? I guess so.
Yeah. It's a fantastic game, and like if you're interested at all, I highly recommend it.
Cool. Greg,
Hi.
we met in May.
We met in May. Yeah, totally the opposite.
Nina
So-
Freeman's new game.
Exactly. Yeah. Apologies to everyone. I know we've been short on games to talk about today. And you guys haven't been able to fill. But yeah, I've been playing a bunch of stuff for next week's show that I can actually talk about. However, yeah, as you said, Nina Freeman, we would know her here on this show. We've talked a lot about Tacoma before, obviously a Fulbright game she worked on with Steve and all them, and then Cybele. which I think is Sybil. I think
Sybil. I
isn't
said
it?
Sybil. I don't know.
No, I think when I talked about it originally on Gamescast, I called it Cybele, but it's actually Sybil.
I said
which
Sybil
she
to
told me.
her, and she did not correct me. So
I think it's one of those things similar to your name where you're just like, you're talking about my game, whatever you call it. I did a weird one, which was the one basically you were playing an MMO and you making dialogue choices and all these different things. I had run into Nina at what I guess it would have been the E3 indie game night, the mix thing. She was showing We Met in May there, and basically We Met in May is a game with that she made along with her boyfriend Jake, and then they have a composer friend who did the music. But it's a vignette game, which I don't think I was super familiar with. Or were you? Had you heard of
I'm not at
vignette
all.
games, right? She put it in when she sent the code and the press release thing. This is how she describes it, right? Vignette games. In our case, the vignette games contained in this collection are very short, focused games. Each one illustrates a different moment in the character's relationship. The vignette games in We Met in May are meant to be brief and memorable. These aren't massive 400-hour RPGs, so don't expect bazillions of hours of gameplay. In fact, only expect an hour or less. Unless you want to share these at a party, then you can get lots of hours out of the collection by watching your friends try to pour sand directly into Jake's mouth in one of the vignettes called Beach State. So when you start the game and get into it, right, and it's a PC game, you can pick it up, it's $5. It's 4 different... I know, right? This is how much I like Nina's games, that I was willing to turn on a PC and actually update Steam today. But there's 4 different, basically, vignettes that you click on, right? And as you move your mouse cursor over them, they animate a little bit, and you can jump in. And so, yeah, the ones that they are is basically, it's chronicling their relationship, right? Their boyfriend and girlfriend, I think, as I said at the top of the thing. And the first one is, you bringing Jake to your, you're playing as Nina, bringing Jake to your room for the first time. Not in a sexual sense, but like more like, hey, come on over and like, let's get a drink or whatever. And it's very much like, in the room, the gameplay is you haven't cleaned up before he got there. So, it's like, do you want to hide your anime body pillow? Do you want to hide your bra you left out? Do you want to do this stuff? And if you do or don't, that then affects the dialogue and you get to pick what's going on. And so it's this very casual thing of she clearly, and we're getting her internal dialogue as you go, right? Is feeling it. She thinks he's cool, right? And she's worried about scaring him off in a room with all her nerdy crap and mangas and stuff. And of course, she doesn't, as they're already together. I doubt there's a choice that ends the relationship. It's not that kind of thing. It's this vignette, though, of them, feeling it out and that, excitement when you first meet somebody you like and finding out they like you too, or at least like you enough to put up with your shit, right? Second one is the beach state that she talked about earlier, which is kind of almost like an Octodad kind of thing of them sitting on it and you control her arms and you're like picking up phones and picking up sand and dumping it on him and stuff. And these are all like very watercolory, portraits of a slice of life where you're jumping in and they look different every time.
Kev, can you bring this up real quick? We Met in May.
And so you're dumping sand on him and dumping chips on him, but every time you do enough in the world, eventually you guys make eye contact and like everything freezes and there's like the dotted line of eye contact. And again, you guys start getting closer and you're like, oh, I get it. It's them, actually going from being friends to maybe there's more to moving on. And then it's a clothing shopping mini game is the third one where you go into the changing room and you're putting on different combinations of outfits, which give you different kind of stats, and you come out and then you've picked which stat you wanted to play with from the outfit, which then devastates Jake as he gets dropped because you're so beautiful or whatever. And then the final one is back at the house, and he's making dinner, right?
What a fucking thing.
I hope he's okay with anime titties. Yeah, I put that up on my Twitter today too because it's such a great one, right? What a
I actually
great line.
I've had that same thing of like I have a big Smash Brothers poster in my room.
Yeah.
And like it's of Palutena and like I have it because like Link and Pit are in there too.
Yeah.
I'm like if people gonna see this and immediately see like, oh, here's a big anime lady.
Yeah.
Like,
Big
should I take
old
this thing
anime
down?
titty.
Or?
Perv.
Here's what I was talking about. Yeah, putting on your different outfits of clothes and combinations like that.
You blow us up, Kev?
I thought I
Yeah, just
saw
let it up, Kev.
in the trailer there was nipple pinching or something.
There is, yeah. That's
going on with
the
that?
final one. Is like again, it's this chronicling of the relationship, right? Of like, I like this person, but did they like me? I don't know. Second one,
You can
this
almost see side boob. Nice.
beach date connection, right? Yeah. Well, Nina's very sex positive. You know what I mean? Body image positive.
Weeb pervs.
And so like it's the progression. And so the final one, yeah, is them at their at home, him cooking dinner,
Pinching some nipples.
and yeah, you just it's her fucking with her boyfriend, right? And like them totally being in love, but her wanting to.
Oh, it was like kind of a joke.
Yeah.
I only saw it in the trailer that was on Steam, and I was like, huh, I thought you said it wasn't sexual.
No, it's totally just like how you fuck with each other. When you've been in a relationship and you're just like, screwing with each other,
Tweak their
screwing with each
nips.
other. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
sure.
exactly.
all the time.
So
man.
yeah, it's
fair.
a super short one. It's beautiful. I obviously like Nina's work, so I was probably gonna be in from the get go, and I was this way. It's just a cute little vignette or 4 vignettes into these people's lives and watching their relationship progress, which I always think's cool.
You sent me a code. I should probably like
You
try
should.
that. Yeah.
Get off your anime titty code vein bullshit.
Get on this
Get off
one.
those anime titties. Get off these anime
These
titties.
them new anime titties.
And it's like an hour for all those vignettes, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Not
I think it's more
each
like
one's
40
an-
minutes.
Right.
Like totally, I would say,
That's
yeah,
cool.
because I did it like I went to lunch and came back and played before this and was done before any of you even showed up. I think.
What do you? I mean, because looking at that, it's
Yeah.
like it kind of just seems like a lighthearted, fun. Like there was Flower. No, not Flower. What's the game? The mobile
Journey,
game.
or?
The last year's mobile game. That
From that game company?
no.
sorry.
The story-based game.
Florence.
Florence.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
not
yeah.
Flower.
Yeah,
Florence. That kind of the whole point of it was, very simple, basic gameplay stuff, but really it was more about the story and the emotion of the characters and the vibe. How would that compare to this?
I would say, I mean, in terms of that, Florence would be like a AAA indie, right? Like, so I mean, this would be like what you'd expect from 2-3 people, including the composer, making a game.
Yeah.
It's super fast. It's super short. I mean, the gameplay in it really isn't even gameplay, right? There's no fail states or anything like that. It's, in the first one, do you want to hide this stuff or not? And then you choose one of 3 dialogue options and see how that plays out.
Okay.
Second one's like Octodaddy, like, do whatever, and eventually you look at each other. Right. Third one, you have to just pick clothes. I don't think there's a wrong combination that you're gonna come out and he's gonna say you're ugly. The point is that every time you come out, he's fucking, oh my god, I'm crushed by how in love with this person I am. And then the final one is that, cool, you're cooking me dinner and I'm gonna just fuck with you. Like that's probably the most gamey one because it is like
I love it.
you go up in between the conversations and try to grab his nips and he'll block them and you do it or whatever. And then eventually it does a very like anime Japanese game where like when you've done enough nipple pinches, or if it just happens every time after a certain amount of time, it cuts to a drawing of Nina's face and it does like and it's just everything blacks out except her eyes, and then it's like hyper turbo nipple pinch mode.
Oh, brilliant.
Hyper instinct.
And then at the very end of that vignette, it's like, for me, it was, you pinched Jake's nipples 29 times. He's really impressed. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, there's a little bit of that, but
Cool.
none of it is the game of it. It's more of like going from friends to lovers, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Story we all know so well.
You and I do, especially.
Yes.
I don't know if you've noticed, we're becoming one.
interlocked the
We're
wrong
becoming
way.
one.
Yeah.
I want to talk just a little bit about Mario Kart Tour. I played
Oh,
last week.
you did,
You weren't
yeah.
on the show last week. Have you played this at all?
Yes, I'm playing it.
Okay.
He's
Yeah, I wanted to hear
playing it,
about
I found
this.
out.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I can't I don't like it, but I keep starting it and playing some more.
And that's my problem too. It's the Nintendo bullshit. I get it. I know. Kev, can you bring up the link that I sent you real quick? So last week, I essentially just talked a lot of shit about this game. And every single thing that I said, I stand by completely and entirely. But I had like a appointment that I had to do after Gamescast last Thursday.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck we recorded it. And I was in a waiting room for like an hour. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? And so I just pulled up Mario Kart. I started playing. I played for that entire hour. And then I was like, I'm going to commit to opening this game and playing at least a little bit every day until the next Gamescast, just to see, do I hit a point where it like gets better?
Right,
Does
clicks
it, does it hit a point where I'm like, oh, this is where they're fucking me with the microtransactions or whatever? Mario Kart Tour speeds to 90 million downloads in first week to become Nintendo's
It's free?
fastest ever mobile game launch. It is free.
Yes.
Scroll down, Kev.
It's free to start.
To look at this in chart form,
Mhm.
it's insane. So much more sales than the other Nintendo games.
Well, okay, downloads. Yes.
Downloads. Sorry. And yeah, it's the free to start type thing where it's like, honestly, like the whole game is there and you can play it. Modes and features are behind a ridiculous paywall that I can't even imagine paying $5 a month to get 200cc mode.
Yeah.
Did you do that at all?
I did not. I saw it and I was like, I think it's like first week is free, so if you want to do that, you can, or first month or whatever. But no, I want more Mario Kart. I don't know that I want it in this form, but I'm still begrudgingly going to like accept it.
Mm-hmm.
But like if the second they put out a new Mario Kart, it's new courses for Mario Kart.
Not too many of them.
Not too many, but it's also old courses I like.
Yeah, the Yoshi's course from
Waluigi
Double
Pinball, like those sort of things. And I want to play those courses in a Mario Kart game I like with other people. And that is the main thing for me of like, it's a single player Mario Kart. and they fill it with bots that have real people names.
And some of the names are really, really weird. Like, I don't understand where they're getting them from. One that there was a Toadette named Thought Sweeper. And like Thought was THOT. And I'm like, that seems very
They're
not-
they're so trying to trick you. They just
No.
want everybody who generally picks it up to think they're playing people.
Well, I think like they pull names from people who are actually playing.
Okay.
But,
So
like,
Thought Sweeper
you're not-
was out there.
But you're
Maybe.
not. Maybe you're playing against their ghosts or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's again at the end of the day, it's a single player Mario Kart, and I cannot imagine that lasting me long term. After I've seen all the courses, be like, all right, well, now what do I do with this? I'm not
And
having
it's such
fun.
a mobile game where there's so many leveling systems that they don't explain to you, and it's just kind of like, okay, there's the weird pipe thing. You blow the pipe, you get stuff.
Yeah.
You get either a character or a cart or a feature for the cart, like the little parasails or whatever, right? But if you get multiple of each, then your like combo meter goes up. Before you start every race, you choose your character, and then you kind of choose your loadout of stuff. But it's just like there's so many like multipliers everywhere, and just like numbers. There's just a lot of numbers.
Yes.
And I'm just like, okay, so every feature of the cart has a level system to it. Your character has a level system, and it's just like it tricks you into feeling like you're getting stuff,
Like you're progressing.
but you're not getting anything. Like it's I just want to play as Koopa Troopa. I don't give a fuck how many
So wait, what's-
baby Marios I have. Level whatever the hell he is.
What do the levels do then, though? They don't
They-
increase your
so
speed and the.
It's not so much increased speed. It's more like increases the points that you get. That
Yeah.
just allow you to get more points.
What do you
So
do with
it's
the
like-
points?
I don't really fucking know.
You can open
honestly.
boxes, and the boxes will
There's
give you things that
That
will give you
more points.
Yeah.
It's like such a just random
Wait,
ass like.
So you you level up and you collect an in-game currency of points, apparently, which you can use to open boxes that give you the same points.
So check this out. There's the
I mean, it
gold
sounds
stars.
very confusing.
Gold stars essentially, you need a certain amount to unlock the next Grand Prix, right?
So
So let's
to
just
play
say-
the additional levels.
Yeah, you need
Okay.
15 gold stars to get
So it's game
to
progression.
open up the next Grand Prix, and that's total game progression. That's fine.
Are those the
When you
points?
play through a race, the races are 2 laps going through any of the maps, and it's getting first doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the 5 stars. You can get up to 5 stars per race. To get 5 stars, you also need to use an item and get the jump turbo start.
Right. Checking
And-
boxes.
And everything you do, it's like you get like points that are just kind of like adding up and up and up and up, and at the end you get a point number that will determine if you get 1 star to 5 stars.
So you,
But depending on what character you use, you're leveling up your character, because if my Koopa Troopa is level like tier 5 or whatever the fuck, then and my Toadette is tier 4. If I played the same race with Toadette, I'd get less points.
okay. Y'all telling me Destiny 2 is confusing? I'm just kidding.
It's useless.
No.
I hate it.
We agree that this is way too confusing.
It's Mario Kart.
I should have just
we had
tried
that,
it.
We had
I
that
don't know
same
why.
Destiny sickness of like,
But
well, I know I don't like this, but,
But and then it's like, oh, then there's rubies, and if you get enough rubies, then you can like blow the pipe, and then the pipe blows, and there's pretty colors.
You know what's interesting is the right, for the longest time as mobile games were developing, a lot of companies were hiring psychologists and people to look at like the
Economists and,
gambling
like, yeah.
reaction of getting the dopamine hit. You're like, oh my god, I won, and it really sounds like they have studied and by the book almost.
It's by the book.
Getting
That's
you to
the
be
thing,
like,
is
ooh,
this
ding.
is dangerous, man.
Ding, and
Because
you're
it's
like,
not good, right? We can both agree on it. This is not good.
No,
It's
yeah.
not fun.
It's
It
not fun,
controls
but you
like
keep coming
total
back.
shit.
yeah, it requires surprisingly little skill even for a game like Mario Kart.
Yeah. I mean, that's the funniest thing is I would say the majority of the time, you actually might do better if you don't control it. Just let it go straight, and it will just kind of like bob along to where you need it to go.
wait, it'll turn corners without doing anything. It's got like you can't turn that off that you're aware of.
There's no acceleration, Fran. It's just
Okay.
go.
I should have just tried.
I'm
it. I
blowing
don't
my
know
first
why.
pipe.
Blow the pipe,
Who'd
Greg.
I fucking get out of the pipe?
So pipes are like loot boxes.
Yeah.
I got
And you
Toadette.
spent stars on them?
No,
got a Toadette.
you spend
Okay.
rubies on them.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting because Nintendo has finally though hit it big with a mobile game that seemingly people are spending a ton of money on. This is by far their biggest hit, right?
No,
It's not for money?
That's the thing.
Fire Emblem is still the biggest revenue wise.
That's it. But
Kev,
by
can you bring that
but
link
in
up again?
time,
I don't know where it went.
in the period of time. Though.
Yeah.
Sorry,
This
not
one,
like
like-
2.5 years.
Scroll down.
Yeah.
Or however old that is. You're saying total revenue is bigger,
I
right?
mean, on average, Fire Emblem tends to do well every month, But like, okay.
But I'm saying, how would a
So
week of this compare
in
to a week
terms of
Fire
week
Emblem
one
right
player
now?
spending, Mario Kart Tour has taken third place with 12.7 million, finishing behind Super Mario Run 16.1 million, and Fire Emblem Heroes 28.2.
Yeah, so Fire Emblem did better in the first
Oh, this
week.
is revenue though.
Yes.
You said okay, not downloads.
$28.2 million in a week.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, but that's third place. You're saying?
That's third place
This is
behind
third place.
Mario
Right.
Run
And
and
Fire
did
Emblem
make
made how much?
28.
Fire Emblem was 28.
Yeah.
48.
28.
Sorry, that's what I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I was trying to make sure I had right.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, though, man.
Oh yeah, but where I was going with this though is they're finally,
this.
they finally
Like I'm watching you, and you walked into a wall or drove into a wall, did nothing, and it just kind of moved you along.
I'm gonna check it out. I don't know why I didn't yet. I had TwitchCon, I think it came out
come
just
excuses,
when last
everybody.
like
I think
A week
fine.
ago.
Yes. Yeah.
So the controls are as follows, Greg. Left and right, change the direction that you're going. Up shoots an item forward, back shoots an item backward. That's it.
Okay.
When the race goes 3, 2, 1, when 2 comes up, you hold down and you get the turbo start.
You know what's interesting to me from the sound of it, though? So I'd still love some clarification. It's simple. Are you telling me you don't like it because it's simple or it's not fun? In other words, there's a lot of it's not
It
fun.
doesn't feel good. That's
Yeah.
the
Not
problem.
compared to
100%.
other Mario
Kart
Karts.
feels great. This does not feel great.
As a vertical racer, apparently that you touch. So
as
again, it's
anything,
something
honestly.
simple. It doesn't seem fun, or you know what I mean. It's easy to compare it to a
See,
full game.
Here's my thing. Like, if this game were even a endless runner, like a vertical
Yeah,
endless
right, that's
runner,
kinda
where
what I'm
you're
getting
kind of just like you're
Left,
you're
right.
going forward,
Dude,
you're going left
yeah.
and right.
Right.
That would be better than this.
Okay, so yeah, mechanically, it's not interesting.
Have
or
you ever
fun.
played Drunk Mario Kart? This is that. This is
Played
Drunk Mario
Monkey
Kart.
Ball?
Yes. This
Wait,
like
is this a drunk?
super-
Wait, is this real? A real game? Or
He's
you
saying
just
it
no,
feels
no.
drunk?
when you
Yeah.
play
Okay,
play
okay.
Mario Kart drunk, that's what it
I've
feels
done
like
that
to
with
play
Monkey
this.
Ball, Super Monkey Ball a lot. Interesting. Okay, so
But
it's
with the
not fun.
touch screen.
And you keep going back though, simply because of these Pavlovian dings, and you want to level stuff up for you're not sure why. You've been
I mean,
psychologically.
that was one thing. I kind of committed to myself that I wanted to play it for a week just to see where I'd be
Okay.
at.
You
And
said
now,
once a
now I
day.
can confirm it's about once a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna stop playing?
I think I'm going to.
I think so. What about you? Because
We'll
why
check
are
it
you
next
going
week.
back?
I honestly, it was like the real reason Grindstone got too hard.
And you were already on your phone, and you're like,
Yeah,
well,
I'm like,
I
I'm
like
gonna-
Mario Kart.
Pretty much, yeah. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, let's give this a shot. And then I
Franchise
just,
endearment.
it's the same reason why I opened Twitter on my phone. I need,
Gotta do something.
yeah, I gotta do something,
Well,
and I
look
might
out
as
the
well
window
like
like an
abuse
idiot.
myself. Like,
Okay.
So yeah, Greg, your
Interesting.
first impressions.
Yeah, that wasn't positive. But honestly, it also was that I forgot about the auto drive forward thing you had talked about. So like when I was doing it, I was holding left or right, trying to steer like I would in Mario Kart with the stick, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to actually take my finger off.
So you're
Which
literally
seems
just-
even less interesting. There's
Yeah,
so much.
swipe.
I mean, granted, I put no money into it, and I will not buy the pass. But it's like Apple Arcade is literally this embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things I still need. The NeoCab is on Apple Arcade. Did you know this? Remember NeoCab?
Yeah.
It's out now on Switch and I think PS4 today too, or PC. Probably just Switch and PC. Anyways, it's on Apple Arcade. Like I've been waiting for that game since we saw it in Indies. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
shit, I
Yeah.
gotta play that. So like the last thing I was like, well, you know what? Sure, I'm enjoying Grindstone and all these other games, but you know what else I want to play? Fucking watered down shit Mario Kart.
It's just a bullshit though, because Mario
God.
Kart should be fantastic. This should be an amazing mobile game, and it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I didn't know it's a vertical only. It is not what I expected.
And the
when I
worst
hear
thing
the
is,
name.
I want 200cc.
yeah.
This feels so fucking slow, and it's just like those motherfuckers know what they're doing. But we'll see.
I want Mario Kart 9. That's like all this has done and made me go like when Mario Kart 9 comes out, I'm all in on
Yes,
that.
let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Anyways, till then, this has been the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Thank you very much for joining us. We're gonna do a little post show here, talk to the people in the Chittity chat. Till next week, I love you.
Mhm.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.